welcome back to another episode of my Let's Play Transport Fever 2 Free Mode Edition. In the previous episode, we basically just did a little bit of track relaying, basically giving this 4-track mainline a boost, but as well as installing a new track to deliver logs to the paper mill. And in this episode, we're going to probably try to see if we can get some more tasks done, because we're basically done with this, mode, because once that mode reaches the particular era we're in, well, it's basically the end of the game. And sadly, some of the mods are not working for some reason, so I had to remove a couple of them from the game, but they will still be available at least. So, let's see, well, the trains are basically able to up workloads. Let's see if we can try to improve some towns in this. Let's see. Emission control. Richland's emissions is not really that great. Though I don't know why. I don't have an airport nearby, but maybe I might be able to figure that out by looking at emissions. Average current. Oh yeah, it's because since there's so many people living close by this train station, excuse me, there is basically, well, you know, stuff. But at least, however, the city is still making people travel in by rail. There is people still traveling with my trolley system. Although, I'm starting to think these EMU commuters is not what I was expecting. I think I'll probably just convert these ones back into electric multiple units. Because at least these trains are able to basically enter and exit the stations. Now, our high-speed trains are basically going to be a bit much improved because of our new high-speed curvature and our newest, a lot of other things too. Because these Avelia Liberty trains basically need a much more consistent operation. Like, this train can only go at 100 miles, can only go at this speed because of the curve leading towards the station. But it can at least still work. We have yet to deliver any loads of lubricants, and that train was supposed to pick some up. It's heading for Cedar Point West, yet it's waiting for another train to clear through. Oh. Oh, I think I know the problem. Yep. I better, get rid of some of these. This one is carrying cigarettes, so I'll just basically get some, high cube boxcars instead. Although we do need more paper to be brought here. Though I'm also hoping that we'll get some more oil delivered to the oil refinery. Well, not oil, but, well, technically oil for the lubricating factory. Because we need to make some more lubricants, but there's not much oil being brought in. In fact, the only delivery that's being brought in is from the granite oil refinery. And that train carrying the refined oil, it's on its way back to picking it up now. And that one's supposed to basically take it all the way up to Cedar Point. Ugh. Well, at least the goods factory is starting to produce goods at a good capacity. Because at least we got a train that's going to be bringing in loads of plastics. Where is that train, man? Oh, it's on its way to pick up plastics as right now, which is good. Let's see. There's got to basically be a much more quicker way or something like that. I'm not so sure. All I could say is that most of the trains that we're operating are basically at their full capacity, so to speak. And I believe there's basically not much else to basically do. I perfected most of my track work as I can. I got most of the industries connected by rail. Well, I basically connected one of each type of industry. I got every town. I got over 100,000 loads of passengers and freight delivered. I also basically got almost everything else taken care of. I mean, all of our towns are growing exponentially, and so are many of our industries. In fact, almost all we have more industries that are in production rather than being at 0-0. And transport is basically nearly 100% for most of the industries. Although I could wish to improve them. I had to invest in some industries to basically make it a lot easier to transport cargo around. Plus, some of my industries are basically fully loaded to the brim. Like my train pickup loads of sand and wastewater is basically now going full on bananas. This train of refined oil, which is supposed to believe be taken all the way to the refinery near Joplin. Well, not the oil refinery, the fuel refinery, with over 626 units of refined oil in its tankers. It basically means that we're going to be getting quite the payload, and basically everything else in between. This train is carrying almost a full-on load of bauxite, although I think it needs to carry a bit more if it's going to keep its costs in check. Thing is, however, since most of these trains are being backed up because of many signals, many of the trains that are supposed to go through will have to wait until the signals are set to green. But according to the charts for many of our equipment, we are still making a profit on handling passengers, running profitable trucking operation and bus operation, as well as a pair of profitable city buses. We are operating at least one profitable trolley operation. This one, number 2, earning the most. And for trucks, this one carrying fruit. For trains, it's a bit of a different story, because most of mine are sadly not making much money, but many of them still are. Like this, this train is making over $62 million in delivery for delivering 700 units of grain to be processed. But we have a profitable freight train, profitable passenger train. Well, yeah, we got one profitable freight, especially one delivering supplies to a town and ones to various industries. Got a high-speed line that's working. We got a commuter service running with electrics running, making money. Even a DMU, or diesel multi-unit service, being taken care of. And our commuter trains are basically making a profit as well. Our ships, well, one of them has been making a profit, but unfortunately, though, these have not been making a profit year after year. So sadly, that's not the case. And now that we're into 2024, only a few months left before our company is basically, well, until we basically kind of like step down. And our airplanes are actually making quite a profit. So in total, most of our vehicles are basically making a lot of money. Another thing is that the fact that out of all the towns that we basically have, the highest population is in Greenwood at nearly 1,000 residents, highest with public transport at Black Diamond, and the highest amount of private being Blue Water City. Highest amount of cargo being delivered is basically Blue Water City. The town with the most highest amount of, well, emissions is basically Cedar Point, and the highest amount of growth is Longwood, which, despite its small size, is actually growing little by little. As for industries, we're basically doing. We got shipments nearly high up for the separation plant, transportation at 100% for most of our industries, and our highest production being most of these other industries, primarily the ones producing raw materials that needs to be processed, including a couple of industries making processed foods. And as our routes, trucking convoy C and E, along with truck service I-3, are making the most bank. Trolleys, trolley service B1 is basically making the most. Trains, obviously the grain train, for the highest amount for delivering raw materials from one industry to another. Highest amount for trains delivering supplies to a town being this one at 16.5 million. Highest amount of money earned in a passenger service, 9.21 for our express trains, high-speed train, as well as the highest amount for our EMU commuter train being this, highest amount for our local passenger train being this. Our shipping group is actually making a bit of profit, which is actually pretty good. And our airplanes are making a profit too. What is going on now? Train 55 and 100 mutually blocked. Right. The trains are blocked at the junction. Well, yeah, I think it was not the best choice of installing this signal over the main line. I think I might be able to get by this by doing this. Just gotta get rid of this signal just to clear the line. And basically get the rest of the trains on through. As for our balance, our company value has reached over $18.3 billion, and our cash basically being up to $13.7 billion. Although we lost a lot of cash in 1956 thanks to a problematic mod that I thought we didn't need anymore, but realized without it, my company would just basically be hemorrhaging money. Our tracks basically grew over time, along with most of this. Our towns basically reached their zenith at this point at over 76,000 residents at all of our towns combined. And our headquarters basically receiving basically over 100 points, being 122, with the most having 60 vehicles or maybe 60 lines producing over $10 million. And we already transported over 100,000 passengers and freight, and we basically have no debt. Our value is our profits have basically been doing all right. They've been going up and down, and we basically have almost a lot of things. We got a train that's over 138 years, which I think is probably the service, over 630 meters of track, and as we reach the 5th of January, we will stop. And there we go. This is basically everything. With that, we have finished. After over so many years from the 1880s to now, we have built an empire so big and so, well, profitable that it's just unbelievably great. But before we basically finish this series for good, let's basically have a quick look on what achievements we won and we did not receive. Let's have a quick look. As you can recall in episode 2 or part 2 of this free mode game of Transport Fever 2, I stated I created some goals that I wanted to complete before the end of this said series. So let's have a look at the goals that I basically set out and see which ones I was able to complete. Starting with number 1, operating a profitable train, bus, truck, trolley, ship, and airplane route each year, with the special condition that ships can only carry cargo and planes carrying only passengers. While I was able to get most of these lines basically making money, the depressioning 1956 financial crash, as well as the fact that my ships had to rely on trains bringing in logs to the lumber mill where they picked up the said lumber to take to a machine factory, well, unfortunately, we did not succeed on task 1. Task number 2, connecting to all the towns in the game map. We obviously got that done because, well, we got so many places and so many trains traveling to many of these locations. Number 3, delivering one of each freight product. We basically got that done, with calcium carbonate being the last cargo to be shipped by our company. Number 4, providing a town with all the needed supplies. With the town of Granite being our very first one, we basically got this task done. Task number 5, building a high-speed line. We already got that done, and it's basically making a bit of a profit. Number 6, getting a company score to at least 40 or 50 on average. We basically exceeded that, as we basically got up to a score over 120. Number 7, don't go beyond the $500 million loan. We basically also got that done already. It took a while, but once that loan was paid off, we never needed to take out a loan again. Number 8, using at least one of each vehicle, with multi-packs not counting. However, because of the goal of ships only carrying cargo and planes only carrying passengers, I kinda messed this one up. So, sadly, number 8 was a miss. Number 9, transporting at least 100,000 units of passengers and freight. That was obviously finished. And finally, number 10, reaching $10 billion in cash. Since we're already at 13 billion, you can obviously see that we basically completed this task. So, after reviewing all the tasks I needed to complete, I was basically able to get most of them done. Although we did not get all of them done, we basically kind of got 8 out of the 10 completed. So that's basically an 80% score. Not too shabby. But in the end, we also built quite an impressive empire, one that makes hand over fist in cash. But, like a lot of good things, things have to come to an end. And we have basically have reached the end of this free mode game of Transport Fever 2. So let us head back to the main menu and finish off from there. And with that, we have basically done everything in Transport Fever 2. We already finished the campaign, and we already did the free mode game. There's basically not much left to do. So with that note, I want to thank you very much for watching this entire series of my free mode game for Transport Fever 2, and basically look forward to next week for basically the trailer for my next Let's Play. So, this has been Texas Gaming Industries, and I want to say thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all in the next episode. Or technically, in the next video. Bye!